I'm now logged in as the purchaser's solicitor. I've reviewed all of the documents and I'm happy with them. I've raised queries and I'm happy with how they've been answered. I have arranged for my client to come in and sign the contracts, which they have done. And now I need to arrange for the receipt of the 10% contract deposit and the transfer of same to the vendor's solicitor. So the payment of the 10% contract deposit, so that's what needs to happen next. So I'm going to say the payment has been made to me in this instance, the purchaser's solicitor. There are some intermediate steps that are going on, the pre-purchase survey, but that's for the purchaser. We've called the purchaser bidder 1 in this instance. Now, I don't actually have the vendor's solicitor's bank details because he hasn't advised me or uploaded those yet. And I know that the purchaser hasn't done the survey and they haven't actually arranged home insurance. Maybe home insurance might be a little bit premature just yet. So, and this is in this fictitious instance, it's a cash buyer, so we don't have mortgage protection or life insurance here as a required step because there's no mortgage being raised. So in terms of the pre-purchase service, so we might just make use of the messaging function here to let our bidder know, or let our client know. Survey. So, dear John, inquiring as to whether the survey has been completed and if any issues you would like me to raise, whatever the case may be. So that's a message to the bidder, and then to the vendor solicitor. No need to CC my client in this. Bank details. Dear sirs, please upload your client funds bank account details such that I'll pause the video. So I'm just reminding the vendor solicitor to upload their bank details, so they'll get that reminder through here. So they'll see that they've got a message. Read the message. Okay. So this is now done. I'll go and get it done. So vendor solicitor's bank details. So they're already here. We just need to make sure that we're happy to share this. So we already put them in here. We'll just submit those and that'll share them with the purchaser's solicitor. Jump back in now as the purchaser's solicitor, so we have those details now. So they're here. So signed contract and contract deposit transferred to the other side there, so sent across to the other side. And we'll jump back in then as the vendor solicitor this time. So signed contract and contract deposit. So let's suppose they've been received now. So we received those in the post. So if we just pause on where we are now, we've signed the contracts as the purchaser's solicitor, we've received the contract deposit, we've sent it across. We want to get a letter of indemnity from the insurance company now noting the new purchaser's interest on the policy, and we might just remind our client to insure the property. If there was a mortgage, they'd need to get that before they can draw down funds. So just waiting on a few tasks to be completed here in advance of the closing. So again, we could be using the messaging function to remind people of what we need. So this is the vendor solicitor now. So the vendor solicitor has requested that from the management company, who in turn requested from the broker and onwards to the insurance company. So that's there. So we'll jump back in now and get that marked off. So we can go in and make sure we're happy with that. Look at the file and approve it. So things are moving along nicely now. So this is the first time we've logged in as the bidder here, so they have a message. So we can apply. This is done. Okay, so we can send that's done. And we can mark it as done. So this is the purchaser now in this instance, just doing the couple of bits that they need to do. Home insurance might just be ever so slightly premature at this point, so they've done that. So now we're going to come back in as the vendor solicitor. They're going to arrange a date to sign. Lets everybody know that the vendors are going to come in and sign. And then we can mark it as signed once they've come in. So let's suppose the contracts are signed now. So they've been signed by the vendor. And then we might propose a closing date. So there's no need to use the messaging function again, but you get the idea that you could send a message to the purchaser solicitor. You could CC your own clients on that if you were minded to do so, to suggest a closing date and eventually agree a closing date. Once a closing date has been agreed, closing date agreed between both sides. Let everybody know what that is. Then again, use can be made of the messaging function to arrange for the transfer of funds and the closing documents, which we haven't put in as individual steps, but they can be arranged using the messaging function. And then once the sale indeed closes, the vendor solicitor can let everybody know that the sale has indeed closed. And then we have a little bit of tidying up to do in terms of the vendor solicitor, which we might deal with in a quick small video after this. So it's just about uploading the mortgage redemption statement, the closing statement for the vendor, getting that approved, and then transferring the funds across. Come back in as a moment from the purchaser's perspective. So the purchaser is now seeing that the sale has closed and presumably going to arrange to get the keys. The home insurance would have been sorted out at some point along the way there. As it was a cash buyer, there was no need as such to get that in place, but obviously as the purchaser's solicitor, we would have advised them to get that in place. And then I'm just going to refresh here. So the purchaser's point of view, we're all done here. Purchaser solicitor, we're all done. Sale has closed. The case has gone into completed there now. And as we're almost there, we may as well go and get this done. So we've requested the mortgage redemption statement. Let's suppose we've received it. So we've received that. We'll upload the closing statement now and get that signed off on by our client. We're the vendor solicitor in this instance. So we're just waiting on our client to log in and approve the closing statement. And then once they do, we can come back up here and we can get the vendor's bank details, which they've uploaded quite a bit earlier in the process. We have a statement confirming those. Call them over the phone to verbally verify them and then make the transfer, and then that closes out the process. So we're all done now and gone into completed. All of the documents remain available to you for future reference should you want them, and that concludes the process.